Greetings! Welcome back to the Osha Cerese Show. I am your host, Osha Cerese, certified life coach, dream doula, supporting you on birthing your ideas into reality, and event curator. This is episode 41, and I'm so glad you're back. This is where culture meets coaching, where healing meets headlines, and where we transmute gossip into growth. Welcome back, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you all are enjoying your day. You've had an amazing Wednesday. You're having an amazing week. This is your weekday dose of real talk. So let's get on into it. Let's get into this. I'm a little late. I said that I was going to be here at 11:30, but I was trying to find a specific clip for today, but we'll talk about it because I remember it very vividly. So let's get on into this conversation. Again, if you are not familiar with this show, this is where coaching meets coaching. This is where culture meets coaching. This is where healing meets headlines and where we utilize alchemy to transmute gossip into growth. So, if you haven't done it already, I need you to go on over to YouTube if you're not there right now and subscribe to my channel. I am diligently working on growing my channel. This is episode 41 and we just started February 1st. So you can tell that I have been putting in that work. I showed up every day, weekends included, in February. And in March, we've been doing 5 days a week, the weekday show. So I'm really excited about what we have here. This show is near and dear to me. I'm really proud of the consistency we have here. And I'm grateful for those of you who have been showing up. I have my regulars now. I have my people that come pull up on me every night. So that is very pleasant. I'm grateful for you all. And I'm grateful for those of you who are just now discovering this show. Again, it is a weekday show and it is a pop-up show. So make sure you not only subscribe to my channel, but you also turn your notifications on because you never know when I'm going to pop up. So the channel is youtube.com/@Osha Cerese, and it can be found at the link in my bio to make it easy for you. So we have been celebrating Black History Month all year long, starting February 1st, but we're going to keep it going. And we're also celebrating Women's History Month in the month of March. So today's Women's History Month spotlight is none other than the beautiful, talented, amazing Patti LaBelle. Patti LaBelle is, legendary. Some people may know her as the godmother of soul. So she was born Patricia Louise Holt on May 24th, 1944 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Philly, stand up. She grew up in a humble working class family raised by her parents, Bertha and Henry Holt. Patti's early life was shaped by both the love and the struggle she witnessed within her family. She started singing. Oh, you know what? I'm tripping. Before I get into all of that, we got to say cheers. We got to cheers. We got to toast. So the drink of the evening, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm messing up. Episode 41, and I ain't even keeping up with the dang on itinerary. So the drink of the evening is pomegranate blueberry kombucha. And we are toasting to a great episode 41, a great show. Happiness, great health, amazing energy, joy, love, peace, blessings, all great things. Cheers. Woo! You know that kombucha got a little bite to it. Do you hear me burping? Excuse me. Back to Patti. Okay, now we blessed our show. So she was raised by her parents, Bertha and Henry Holt. Patti's early life was shaped by both love and the struggles she witnessed within her family. Cheers. Thank you. Shout out to, how do I pronounce it? Abiel, I don't know. Abiel Israel. Give me the what is it? Phonetic. Tell me how to pronounce it. I've been trying to use words that are just simply not in the phonetic way to pronounce it. Some words just ain't in my vocabulary. I don't use them. So give me the phonetic way to say it. Patty's early. Okay, I said all that. She started singing in the choir at the church, where her powerful voice caught the attention, even as a young girl, from the congregation and others. Patty's career took off when she became the lead singer of the Ordettes in the early 1960s. The group eventually became Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells, earning a reputation for their powerful vocals and harmonies. In 1971, the group reinvented themselves as LaBelle and made history as the first Black female group to perform at the Metropolitan Opera House in New York City. The group's most iconic hit, Lady Marmalade or Lady Marmalade, depending on who you ask, released in 1974, became a cultural phenomenon with its bold lyrics and catchy, catchy chorus. Excuse me. I was thinking about Lady Marmalade in my head as I'm reading. Reaching number one on the Billboard Hot 100. I was thinking about everybody knows a little bit of French because of Lady Marmalade. So, voulez-vous coucher avec moi chez soi? I don't mean that, but I do know that. When LaBelle disbanded in 1976, Patti went on to have an incredible solo career known for songs like If Only You Knew, one of my favorites, probably my favorite by her. New Attitude, On My Own, You Are My Friend. Another one I like is Diamonds and Pearls with her and Prince. She became celebrated not only for her powerful voice and emotional delivery, but also for her ability to span genres, blending R&B, soul, pop, and gospel effortlessly. Patty's skills just don't stop at singing, or don't just stop at singing. She's a force in the kitchen too, known as the Queen of Soul Food. She's authored several cookbooks, including LaBelle Cuisine, Recipes to Sing About, and Recipes for the Good Life. Her sweet potato pie went viral in 2015 thanks to YouTuber James Wright Chanel, whose enthusiastic review caused the pies to sell out nationwide at Walmart. She has since expanded her food line to include peach cobbler, bread pudding, and more. And let me tell y'all about the patty pies. Because James Wright Chanel, he did that because I was influenced. He was a great influencer because I was definitely influenced. This was before I was vegan, probably the year before I was vegan, actually. When I tell you I went to Walmart looking for them patty pies and they were nowhere to be found, and I found me a worker and I asked them to go check the back, and they found some, and I got two of them. And I thought they were pretty good. You know, people were going back and forth on whether or not they needed to be heated or you eat them right out the box. I liked it out of the box. It was good. I tried to heat it up. It was good that way too. But she did some with the patty pie. Some people say it's nasty. Some people say it got too much nutmeg in it. To each their own. I heard she's very famously known for her, I think it's seafood macaroni, maybe shrimp macaroni or something. She loves to cook for people. One of her famous moves is, the flying the bird wings, kicking her shoes off and rolling around. She don't play when she performs. She did a verses with her and was it Gladys Knight? And they are getting ready to go on tour with Shaka Khan and Stephanie Mills, who also did a verses. So that's going to be, I think, a great tour for those who love that old school soul music. That's going to be an amazing show. If you want to check that out. Excuse me, y'all. I got 3 different thoughts going on, and I'm looking at comments over here, and I'm looking over here. But if you would like to check that concert out, make sure you go and check out the tour dates. And we are giving our honor to Patti LaBelle today for Women's History Spotlight. So shout out to you. If only you knew all of the great things. So speaking of, Patti LaBelle, one of my most favorite viral moments of her, she has so many. Because sometimes Miss Patti LaBelle is known for not remembering lyrics and needing that teleprompter. Specifically, I think there was like a Christmas special she did, and she was looking for her background singers, and they didn't have the words on the teleprompter, and she was trying to sing I really feel like it was it a Donny Hathaway song? It was something she was trying to sing. She didn't remember the words. She freestyled it. It was they worked it out. Then when Tina Turner passed away, she did a tribute to Tina Turner and didn't know the words. So we gonna give Auntie some grace. But one of my most favorite viral moments of Patti LaBelle is when she was on the Tyra Banks show. And there was some guest chef there. They were making cupcakes. And the guest chef was a Caucasian woman. And she was in the middle. Patti LaBelle was over here. Tyra Banks was over here. So they had made cupcakes that I believe they were getting ready to share with the audience. So when Patti LaBelle picked up the cupcake, she was just saying, she was referencing that there was paper on the cupcake to let the audience know that she was not touching the cupcake directly. And so she's like, okay, there's paper here. And so the white lady's like, oh no, you can't eat the paper. And she continues to talk to Tyra Banks and go on to the next topic of what they're saying about the cupcakes on this side. Patti LaBelle's over there looking like, girl, I know you can't eat the paper. What do you mean I can't eat the paper? I know that. And so the woman is just like, you know, she hears Patti LaBelle over there. The audience is seeing all this going on. So she's just like, what makes her think I want to eat the paper? And she was just like, well, you're the one that wanted to eat the paper. I was just telling you that you couldn't eat it and just making stupid ass comments, being condescending, giving microaggressions, really. And Patti LaBelle was like, girl, when I said that there's paper here, I was letting them know that I washed my hands, but there's also paper to let them know I wasn't touching the cupcake, boo. And the girl was like, oh. But every time I see that, every time I see the clip, I get irritated about the woman, but I get so tickled by Patti LaBelle's response because she handled it in a way where she was still remaining professional, but also standing on business, and gave her a little auntie, nice, nasty checking, because what we're not going to do is try to humiliate me, embarrass me, or be condescending as if my grown ass thinks that I can eat paper. And how dare you even assume that that's what I was saying? So that's one of my favorite viral moments of hers. Girl, it's a mess what some people will do and say and think that you're just going to roll with it to save face. She probably thought, oh no, she's not going to do too much or say too much because we're on TV. No, we're going to address this right now. But anyway, speaking of addressing people in a professional way, there's an issue going on in the news that's trending, that's all in the blogs, that's going crazy right now. And it is the tension between Jess Hilarious and Loren LaRosa on The Breakfast Club. Whether it's tension between them or just tension from commenters making making a problem where it's not really one. So Angela Yee left The Breakfast Club sometime last year or the year before. So they spent several months bringing in different women as guest co-hosts to try to see who they were going to hire to fill Angela Yee's position. I think she was on there for like 13 years for as the third host. So it's Charlemagne the God, DJ Envy, Angela Yee. So when she left, they're looking for someone to fill the position. Jess Hilarious was one of the women who, of course, auditioned, sat in, filled in, and got the job. Jess Hilarious is most popularly known as an internet comedian. So she has built her platform from social media, you know, just being herself, creating skits, making commentary. And she has a segment called Jess with the Mess where she goes over the weekly trending topics and kind of just gives her comedic spin to it. Vigilante says, I'm making my video about it tomorrow. Let me know how you feel about it. Sure. Give me 1 second, y'all. Okay. So she got the job, but I don't even think it was shortly after she got hired that she was pregnant. I think when she got hired, she was pregnant. So shortly after she got hired, she had to go on maternity leave, is what it was. So when Jess was getting prepared to go on maternity leave, she was a part of the process with choosing who would fill in for her. And she chose Loren LaRosa. So Loren LaRosa, from her point of view, I haven't done too much research on what her background is, but from her point of view, she said that she came on mainly as a producer for the show, like being able to find find the stories for the segments and being able to fill them in, you know, give them be in the back end, be behind the scenes with it. But she came in as a fill-in for Jess Hilarious. And, Jess Hilarious has a dope approach to celebrity news. I like Jess with the mess segment. It is funny. It is somewhat informative. It gives you the highlights, with a little comedic edge. Now, Lauren LaRosa has more of a journalistic approach. She's doing research. She is doing her due diligence to find out the facts, and even the way she delivers it is more of, sounds more like a journalist than a comedian, because I don't think she's a comedian. Let's just go ahead and look up her background, because I did not do this because this is not technically what this segment is about, but let's see. So it looks like she is most known as a producer. So from September 19, 2024, I found an article on boldjourney.com. And it says, she titles herself as a brown girl grinding storyteller. She coined that when she first moved to LA as a hashtag to document her journey as she figured her way in the LA entertainment industry. From that point, she built Brown Girl Grinding into a media and production company that has been accredited for breaking some of the biggest entertainment news stories, producing content with platforms like ESPN and more. It says she's been able to leverage her brand and storytelling ability, which has landed her 8 years within one of the most sought after pop culture newsrooms as a senior news producer with TMZ, and currently a fill-in recurring role as personality and reporter on the Hall of Fame radio show, The Breakfast Club. Okay, so she was doing her own thing, and then she was also on TMZ. Now that I read that, I think I might have seen her on TMZ. Okay. So she's got the resume, she's got the experience, and she has a nice voice, and she asks really good questions when the guests are on it and everything. So I think when Jess went on maternity leave, people were really vibing with Loren LaRosa's approach to the celebrity news and how she was delivering it. Now, Jess Hilarious, she's she's from Baltimore. She got the U's and twos, and she's got the accent, and sometimes she could be a little rough with her delivery. And then, of course, it is comedic. If she doesn't have any journalism background, which I don't have any journalism background, but I find myself to be quite a pretty good interviewer. So sometimes you naturally have it. Sometimes it comes with experience. So it's just a different style. So Vigilante says she's like a female version of Jason Lee, meaning I guess you could say that. So again, it's kind of that's a tough place to be in when you have secured a job that you were really gunning for. And I believe Jess did a great job of promoting herself when she was going for the position at the Breakfast Club. Like, she had her own team that was there, vlogging for her and creating some great edits of the behind the scenes of her being at the Breakfast Club. And she really put in a lot of energy to making sure that she represented herself well for that position. Greetings, realists. So getting a position when you're pregnant, she probably had to not be so vocal about it, because in any workplace, a lot of women will tell you that they hide their pregnancies until they've secured the job. Because although you're not necessarily supposed to discriminate now, I guess it's with DEI and all of that, DEI and A, is it A? Being off the table, I guess anybody can be discriminated on at this point. But in the past, you're not necessarily supposed to discriminate against someone because of their pregnancy status. But most jobs are not wanting to employ you when you are pregnant, especially when you're so far along that you're getting ready to go on maternity leave. So I'm sure she kept it under wraps. She got the position. Boom. She's pregnant. She has to be accommodated. And then to go to choose someone, and then to see everybody in the comments saying they like her better, they feel like she's doing a better job, this, that, and the third. So Jess Hilarious is basically saying when she came back from maternity leave, she's thinking like, okay, I'm back. Thanks, dog. Thanks, big dog. Peace. And it didn't go like that. Loren continued to be there throughout the episodes. And so Jess Hilarious had been told that there was not going to be a fourth voice. Initially, they were interviewing different people like Kendra G and Claudia Jordan, and they kind of had them on at the same time sometimes. But they reassured her that that's not the direction that they were going in. But now that Loren is on the show, they're saying that they always considered there being a fourth voice. So Jess is saying that when she initially returned back from maternity leave, she did feel a type of way towards Loren, not necessarily directly towards her, but just for the whole situation. But I think that eventually reading the comments, seeing the comparisons, then, feeling like she's stepping on her toes, she did kind of start having a somewhat of a feeling towards Loren as well. So there has been some tense little moments. I saw a clip where they were both talking and Jess was trying to get her point across and Loren was still talking, and Jess told her to hush, either hush, be quiet, or hush, shut up. And what grown woman wants another woman telling them that? Regardless if that's how you talk, if that's how they talk where you from or whatever, that's not going to sit well with any woman. So anyway, a lot of things have been circulating in the blogs regarding Jess Hilarious, her position there, Loren, and who they like better, comparisons, all of the things. So Corey Holcomb and Jess Hilarious have had some type of long-term beef. Don't know where it stems from. Seems like Corey be beefing with a lot of people. I don't know. But he calls her less hilarious. So he put out a video has been going viral with him basically saying that Loren is the more talented individual there, and basically saying Jess Hilarious doesn't deserve that spot. She's not as good at it, and it doesn't translate as well as it does with Loren. So all of these things, are hitting the fan with this Corey Holcomb video going viral, the clip of Jess Hilarious telling Loren to hush, all of the other speculations and people giving their opinions. And so Jess Hilarious took it upon herself to go live and kind of talk about how she's been feeling about it, saying, what her thoughts are about how they're handling it at the Breakfast Club, the company as a whole, how she doesn't feel like her co-hosts are standing up for her and not letting this narrative of her being the villain keep going and circulating without addressing it. So they brought it to the mics today on the Breakfast Club, and they kind of aired out their grievances together on air. I mean, it's online and on air. But basically, they had a talk. I could play a little bit of the clips here in a second. And I wanted to just talk about my thoughts on the way it was handled. While I'm getting that together, let me see what Vigilante's talking about. Jess getting picked was a left field pick, but I supported her. She don't add nothing to the show, but God positioned her to help put Loren in a position because she is a little better for the spot. Interesting. Okay. And then one of the main issues that Jess was having is not necessarily Loren being there or people saying how they feel about who's the better person for the spot, but she feels like it's like a fight for airtime, and that's why she did say hush, because she felt like she's having to be like jump in, get in where she fit in, and Loren is fighting her for airtime. And the Just with the Mess segment, or the segment about celebrity gossip and celebrity news, was initially Jess's portion, her segment. So now they still have Loren doing that segment. I honestly feel like they can blend it. There's a way that they can blend it. They can let Loren do her more serious journalistic type take on the celebrity news, and then they can let Jess give her comedic spin to it, or they can give Loren a different type of segment that is not specifically celebrity news. I mean, their whole show is about celebrity news, so I don't know how they can break the segments down when it comes to. I think, yeah, like my initial thought, let Loren be the journalist to say it seriously. Let Jess give the comedic angle. So here are some clips from them discussing this.
Is East Side high, West Side, whatever high we gonna be, we here and we together, so we gotta figure this out. And it's not, everything's not a joke. And I can understand some of where you was coming from, but bro, part of that live I thought was crazy. I'm like, what, Jess? Like,
what part? Because like, it's not like you didn't hear anything in that live that I haven't said to you.
I heard a lot that you didn't say to me.
Okay, so what part did I not say to you?
Okay, so the part about the talking over each other and the hush, be quiet, because you talk about how you feel in real time, right?
Yeah.
I'm feeling in real time. That be quiet. That was crazy. The shut up. I was like, oh, okay, because what we really giving up here? Like, what's up?
Okay,
right?
But I didn't. None of that was said. You didn't say anything about that.
And then when I pulled you into the office with our EP with Eddie, the first thing I said to you was, Jess, we fighting for airtime and it shouldn't be like that. I want to know what can I do better as a producer? What can we do better? Because this is
stories and things like that. You've never said what you just said to me. Now listen. I have said, hush, shut up. You overtalk. And like I said, I'm not about to be up here fighting for no mic. Like, I'm not doing it. If I already got the job, like, what am I doing? Like, I'm not. It's 4 voices. 3 of us are very opinionated. You know what I mean? Me, you, and Charlamagne. I'm not saying we don't got no opinion, but he don't jump in every single time there's dead air. You know what I'm saying? When you overtalk. And it's like the only time you can quiet down is somebody be like, shut up or hush.
My mom don't even tell me shut up, Jess. I'm a grown.
And I understand you could have said that on air right then and there, or right after when you say you pulled me in the office. You never pulled me nowhere to tell me that.
Because the way that I do things when it comes to my job and my career, that's not what we on. And I told you from the jump, I was never going to give that to you.
Okay.
Ever. And did I not? Our first conversation, I said, if I ever have an issue with you, I'm going to handle it in a way where we can get through a conversation, because we grown, and regardless, you don't got to love me, you don't got to like me, but we here together. I'm here.
And listen, stories, and that's not, like, that's first and foremost, let's get that. It may be my delivery or whatever. But yeah, you are here. I ain't never say you shouldn't be here. I said from the whole jump, yeah, Shorty do the job great. She's amazing. That's why I want it to be her segment.
I think y'all can work very well together. And once again, you got to stop letting the internet pit y'all against each other. I know the internet has created a narrative. Loren versus Jess versus Loren.
But that's what it is.
And that's what I'm trying to say is the internet is there. We see it. None of us can ignore it. I saw that Corey thing a week ago. It didn't say nothing about it.
Y'all clear up everything else. Nobody want to clear up that I'm not doing that. I don't like you. I'm hating on a.
They say I'm gay.
That's true. That's different now. Come on.
Well, I just want to say, Jess, what you feeling, we feel it together. And when the other thing happened that I called you about, I said that to you. But and I responded to that on Twitter. I didn't send it to you.
That's not like ever since I came back, it was weird. Yes, it was weird. Yeah, I at first, no, I did not. I wasn't too fond of Loren. No, I wasn't too fond of her when I came back because we had a whole plan. Even how when I came back, how I pick her to fill in for me, right? I come back, she ain't never leave. Then, all right, cool that she don't leave, but she's on only during my segment. If she was meant to be a full host, move her in another way. Why she got to be moved in on? Because nobody had a problem with Jess with the message until she started reading right. You know what I mean? Till she started reporting. I wasn't hired as a reporter. I was hired as Jess with the mess. So she started reading and delivering details and all that stuff. Yes. Then that's when Jess with the mess wasn't good enough no more. That's how it was presented. So I'm like, all right, cool.
Who said that though? Because of the internet.
What are we talking about? No. This is our listeners. This is yeah. Why can't we? Ever since I came back.
So, I see your comments, Vigilante. I'm gonna address them shortly. I understand what Jess is saying. Like, she's basically saying she wasn't hired as a reporter, so it's unfortunate for her that her style of giving the news, which is what she was hired for, is now deemed not good enough since Loren has been on there giving more details, being more of a reporter or a journalist. And she's saying that she doesn't have a problem with her being there, but just why do you all have us doing the same segment? Which goes back to what I'm saying. Like, there has to be a way where they can both do the same thing from a different type of perspective. Even if it's maybe Jess takes on a few of the celebrity trending topics that aren't as serious, that don't really require too much meat and potatoes, meat on the bones. Like, let her do a couple of jokey jokes on the little, trending things that might be on the Shade Room, and let Loren talk about the more serious things that you might see on TMZ or other platforms that give not just the hip hop or cultural highlights or something like that. They can find some type of balance. Then I don't really like how they're trying to work through their issues, and I ain't gonna say I don't like it, but Charlemagne was kind of like low key. You're just making jokes out of it when they're trying to work through this. And this is something that, some people might feel like this is unprofessional for them to discuss on the air, but it also is an opportunity to show how two Black women who are often pitted against each other in workplaces, in the industry, and in life, in the world, in America, how they can work through their problems. It's okay to feel your feelings. It's okay to not like everything or everybody, but how can we work together? How can we solve this? So it could have been an opportunity for them to publicly resolve the conflict and work through it, or they could have chosen to work through it off air and then come on air with the solution. Like, we talked about it. This is some of the things that we discussed, and we decided that this is how we're going to move going forward. And they may still do that. They may, most likely will probably work through the issues now that it's been brought to the forefront, and then come back with a solution. Also, Charlemagne was almost kind of like shaming her for, is who's saying this? Is this the audience? Is this the commenters? Like, and she called him out like, Charlemagne, don't try to act like you don't be in the comments too. So, like she said, it's the listeners. So the listeners, the commenters on Instagram or wherever they are, their feedback does kind of matter because they are the listening audience. So if she's taking heed to what they're suggesting or what they're saying or what they're complaining about, that is not abnormal for somebody to do if they have a role to fulfill and people are complaining about it. It's not unusual to look at those comments and see what's being said and feel away or make adjustments or whatever. She can let it roll off her shoulder. I don't think she should take things so personally or take it to heart, but her reading the comments to be able to know how to adjust what she's going through, that's completely normal. So for him to kind of make light of it or shame her for doing that, I don't like that part. And then there was another part, the conversation about her hushing the girl, again, fighting for airtime, being that there's so many opinionated people on the show. you know, it is difficult being on a show with multiple voices. I told y'all I started my podcasting career as a panelist on my family talk show, Table Talk Thursday, which I'm still a part of. We're just on a break right now. And as one of, it has been up to 6 of us. Most in most recent years, has been 4 of us. But sometimes it can be challenging to get your voice in there. You have to find a flow and a way to make sure that you're not constantly over talking each other. It's even more challenging with Table Talk Thursdays because we're not in the same room. We're usually in different states trying to do this on a Zoom or on a platform that allows all of us to be on the air. So being in the same room, you should be able to find ways to not overtalk each other. And it's just a matter of being respectful as well. When you know that there's multiple voices in the room that have opinions on the subject that you're talking about, just being aware that, okay, say your opinion, but if you hear somebody trying to cut in, allow them space to talk. Like, I'm a solo podcaster right now at the Osha Cerese Show. I get to yap and I get to choose when I don't want other voices added. Like, I got some comments right here. I'm going to read them in a second. But when you have multiple people on the panel or on the show, you don't have the luxury to pick and choose when you want other voices to be heard. So you have to find a some type of compromise in order to allow people the space to talk. Some people will just yap and not. It's almost like you got to double dutch to get in there. And you also have to be aggressive sometimes, just like Jess. I don't think you should be telling nobody hush or be quiet or shut up. No. But sometimes you do have to speak a little louder or keep talking because somebody is not allowing you to get in there. Okay. So Vigilante says, aside from any of that, 2 Black women getting their dream jobs is a win. And Jess is letting the fans trick her out of position and she's unprofessional. I think that she's definitely not traditionally professional. And I think that based on her platform of being a free, like, she's her own boss as a comedian, as an influencer, as a social media content creator. So this space that she's entering as a employee of whoever owns the Breakfast Club, if it's a iHeartMedia or whoever owns it, being their employee is definitely a shift. So sometimes, honestly, you get to a point in when you're self-employed or when you're your own boss that you do become unemployable because you're not used to having to stay within certain rules and, you know, abide by certain corporate expectations. So I don't know if she's unprofessional, maybe in this traditional sense. She's definitely opinionated and standing up for herself. She's definitely talking about it on her platforms. But is Charlamagne the God professional? He talks about all kind of crazy stuff on and off air. DJ Envy just barely got missed being charged with fraud, real estate fraud. Angela Yee, you know, when she was on, she has a podcast where it's all about sex and they talk about all kind of raunchy, graphic, vulgar topics. So professional, I think, is subjective to what your idea of professionalism is. But I think that, you know, there is a time and a place for everything. And of course, being an employee, you do have to follow certain guidelines. But I hope she's not allowing people to trick her out of her position. I think that she's smart enough to know that if you're gonna go all the way in and go hard on certain things, she might be on doing some Kanye type stuff where they self-sabotage the thing so they can get out of the damn contract. You never know. Because what did Ye do? Acted a damn fool until he got out of his Adidas contract. We gotta eliminate all negative energy in podcast and radio space so we can get to a higher place. If she's not happy, she can leave. Jess Hilarious is the least of our worries when it comes to negative energy in the podcast space. There's so many things that we can eradicate from the energies of the podcast space. And Jess Hilarious reporting her grievances on how she's being treated and how she feels, I think, is nothing compared to what we've seen in the radio and podcast space. There's been plenty of movies I've been in where I got hired as the lead and gave up my role willingly if another person did it better. God was a humanitarian, not greedy. Greed will destroy. So, did you have the role and they told you that they made a mistake by giving you the role and they would rather hire somebody else? Like, what did that look like? Because I agree that, you know, you shouldn't be greedy and everything, but I also agree that certain opportunities are given to you for a reason. And if did you feel like you didn't earn it? Because even though somebody else might have been better, that role might have not necessarily been for them, and them not getting it might have been making way for them to get something that was best fit for them. So please elaborate. If I get paid the same amount of money to talk a lot as I get to be quiet, I don't care who talking, I'm gonna shut the F up and have my thoughts craved through my silence. Elegance always wins. I mean, I feel like I'm the type that I'm not gonna fight for airtime after a while. I was on a panel not too long ago, and I can yap, as y'all know. I got 42, 41 hours plus of yapping in the past month and a half to prove it. But at the same time, I don't feel like I have to over talk anybody or be extra or be loud or be aggressive in order to shine or be able to share my opinion. So sometimes it is best to just be quiet and fall back and let people talk. And when it's your time to speak, you'll be able to speak and allow that time to be impactful. So I definitely agree with that too. So that's what's going on with them. I really hope that they can, you know, figure things out, because it is two beautiful Black women that have been given an opportunity on a large platform. They can make it work. They can provide balance with what they're doing. And I think that it's possible, and hopefully they clear the air. And also another thing that Jess Hilarious brought up that she didn't appreciate is them, which I've already mentioned briefly, but since we listened to the clips, like them not clearing the air on her not being a villain. With Corey Holcomb and his rhetoric that he's spreading across the airwaves. And she mentioned that, you know, y'all clear up everything else, but you didn't address this. So if it was just something that they always have rumors and things going around and they never acknowledge it, then that's one thing. But if they're acknowledging everything else but that, she's entitled to feel a type of way about that. So I'm glad that they acknowledged it. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with having meetings where you're calling people out, not necessarily in a rude, unprofessional, aggressive way, but just like letting people know how you feel and what is going on that they are doing that is making you feel uncomfortable or making you feel like you are not valued. And we have to have these conversations professionally and personally. And sometimes people don't even know that they're doing something that make you feel a type of way. Until you address it. So I'm all for them addressing it and bringing it to light. Good evening, Gary Bust It Down Brown. Thank you for pulling up. So y'all let me know your thoughts about this whole situation. And have you ever had a moment where you had to address some things in a workplace dynamic? Because y'all know I stay with a story time. But I'm the type, whether it's a coworker, a supervisor, manager, the owner of the building or the business, whoever it is, if I personally have a grievance, I don't have a problem addressing it, acknowledging it, saying how I feel. And most times it is received. Sometimes it's not. There was someone, I'm not going to even give a time frame or mention any particulars, but someone that I was working for their company for a little while, it was just, I didn't feel valued. I didn't feel appreciated. I didn't feel like my gifts were being utilized to the best of their abilities. I felt like I was being treated, I don't want to say like the help, because although I was hired. It was like I was an independent contractor, so I wasn't an employee, but I was hired for specific jobs. But this person kind of like wanted to give all type of jobs, like things that were totally out of my job description that really technically they should have been hiring outside support for the jobs that they were trying to get me to do. And so when we had a meeting, everybody else want to talk shit about it amongst us, amongst ourselves. I don't want to just talk shit and just be, oh yeah, this person did this and I don't like that. No, let's bring it to the meeting and talk about it. And everybody will be, talking shit. But then when it comes to those meetings, when it's time to address that person head on, everybody else quiet and I'm the one talking. So then I end up being the damn villain because I'm saying what everybody else doesn't want to say or is afraid to say. And I just think that that's whack because outside of these damn four walls, baby, outside and in them, we are still grown ass people and we're still adults. Yes, if we have a job to do or we work for someone, there's a hierarchy, all of that. We get it. But respect is due to everybody. And I'm not about to just be nobody's punching bag, doormat. I told this person specifically, just because I work here doesn't mean that I'm at your beck and call for every little thing because some of the tasks were just completely inappropriate. So I don't see a problem with speaking up, being an advocate for yourself, knowing your rights as someone who is hired. Like, it's very important to know your rights. If you work for a large company and there's HR, remember, HR is not there for you, baby. You can go to HR all day long with your grievances and your complaints, but their job is to protect the business. So they're going to do what's in the best interest of the business. So you have to be a self advocate. You have to speak up for yourself. You have to be able to communicate effectively. You don't have to be rude, aggressive, unprofessional, or anything like that. But it's okay to be firm on what you feel and be confident in how you address certain issues. Gary Busted Down Brown says people's intent doesn't trump a person's feelings. That's true too. You can intend something and someone can take it a certain way. And yeah, that's why communication is important. God is working and Jess was supposed to praise Loren and move on to something bigger that God has for her. Why do you keep putting God with the lowercase g? If we talking about God, it's big G. Something bigger that God has for her. Loren and Jess could have started their own podcast since they got on the Breakfast Club light right now. I mean, you never know how they're going to pivot after this. So we'll see. We shall see. On to the next topic, because I didn't even know we was going to be on this topic that long, but I did want to talk about this because I feel that it's very important to address. Another viral video that is going around right now is the beautiful Afro-Latina, talented Amara La Negra. Amara La Negra. She's famous, most famously known for being on Love and Hip Hop Miami. And she has had her fair share of toxic relationships being unfolded on this show. Before we move on, Gary Busted Down Brown says, if people believe that respect is earned, why do some people think it should be given? If people believe that respect is earned, why do some people think it should be given? I think that respect should be a baseline. I think everybody deserves respect. Little children, grown people, everybody, employees, rich, poor, whatever. I'm not with it should be earned. Now, I am with, if you're going to disrespect, then you might be met with disrespect as well. So in that case, it would have to be earned if you're going to come at somebody incorrect. But as a baseline, I feel like everybody deserves respect. But Amara La Negra, she has, she's very talented. She's been in show business since she was a child. She credits her mother for being there to really push her in her dreams. She has clips of her dancing and being in shows and things as a little girl. And she just recently had twin girls a couple of years ago. And when she I want to say right around the time before, I think it was before she had her girls, there was an episode where her dad came to visit her and her mom. It might have been when the girls were born. And her dad, he stayed for a little while, and she was thinking that he was going to move in with them or move in with her, be closer to her. I wanted to look up one fact here. I wanted to make sure I was saying, I think she's Dominican, but I want to be sure. So yeah, she's Dominican. So she was hoping that she could, be closer to her dad. He's still lives in the Dominican Republic, and her mother, of course, lives here with her in Miami. And so she addressed the fact that her dad wasn't always present. He wasn't in her life. And the way she cried, that's why I was a couple minutes late from coming on, because I was looking for the clip of her crying about her father. I couldn't find it anywhere. But I remember specifically, I don't have the same experience that she has with her father, but the way that she cried and talked about her father not being in her life, her father not being present, her father not wanting to be there to really cultivate their relationship now that she's an adult. And she's just said, why doesn't he want me? It was giving Will Smith, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air scene with Uncle Phil, why he don't want me type emotion, but even deeper. I remember it specifically, like, just because of the way it made me feel, the way I could feel her pain when it came to that, and how it was almost like it was her as a little girl crying out for her father. It wasn't this big grown sexy woman who is sexually liberated and has body positivity, showing skin, talented, singing, rapping, confident, wearing her big afro or her, bold colors and dancing and performing. It wasn't that woman. It was the little girl in her that was crying out, wondering why her dad didn't want her. So yesterday, a clip from Love and Hip Hop has been going around of her crying to her baby's father. When she got pregnant, it wasn't initially revealed who the father was, but eventually she did reveal it. He's a Dominican man. He still lives in Dominican Republic. I believe he has some older children as well. He's a real estate developer. And she's had some other public relationships on the show, but this one specifically seems like the most desired one for her. So in this clip, she's crying and she's basically begging him to give her a solid answer on what are they doing. She wants for them to be a family, him, her, and their two little girls, to raise their family together, to co-parent together, to be together. She's saying that the only reason why she hasn't given up on hope is because he never tells her no, that this is not a possibility. He always says maybe. So she's hanging on to that maybe. What she also revealed is that he's married. So she said he's always been married. So I don't personally know the dynamics of this man's marriage. Some people say that they're married and it's like they just been married. They're married on paper. They've been separated for years. They don't really fool with each other like that. Some people say they're married and they have a hall pass to be open to be with other people, or they have an open marriage. They're polygamous, whatever. And then there's a married man that's just straight up stepping out on his wife and impregnating another woman, having another relationship. And I don't know the dynamics of what Amara La Negra knew about his marriage prior to having these twin girls. I don't know if he was upfront about it. I don't know if it was a known fact. I don't know if it was a secret and she didn't find out until after he had the children. So we don't know the details. All I know is in this clip, she mentioned that she had asked him for more sperm to basically be a sperm donor because she wants more children with the same father. He said he needed to consult his wife. So clearly he's in a marriage where it's not just on paper. So Gary Busted Down Brown says she has a great children's book, Amarita's Way. I didn't know that. Amarita's Way. So of course everybody in the comments is going in on Amara La Negra, specifically about her. Like, what do you think, girl? You had a baby. You had babies by a married man, and now you're crying. These are the results that you get when you fool with married men. Keep your legs closed to married men, in my Nene voice. I'm looking for the actual video. See if I saved it. I thought I did. I will find it. Okay. So I'm gonna just play the clip.
Told her they came to the house and had a conversation. She said that you had told her that you still loved me, that you had feelings for me, all these other things.
You're the mother of my babies. Of course I got feelings. I respect you. I don't even know what we're having this conversation right now.
The only thing I requested was you to put it in a cup because I only wanted you to be the only father of my children. But I know that when I asked you, you said you had to ask your wife. And I'm not trying to be a side to no man.
You had a situation with somebody, but now you're trying to make
You're the one who's married. You've always been married. And I'm still here trying to make some work. You don't deserve me and I'm here. I'm telling you, what do you need me to do? I've waited. Let me fix my situation till when? Till when do you need me to wait for you? You don't even have the balls to tell me, yes, I want to be with you, or no. You leave me lingering, knowing that I love you. And you play with my emotions. Why do you do this to me? Just tell me no, so I can move on. I haven't been able to move on from you. I think this so that I can move on with my life, and I haven't been able to. I always have hope that maybe one day you'll see the value in me. One day you'll see that I'm a good woman. This hurts me. Just tell me no. Say no. And I promise I'll leave you alone, but you never say no. You always say maybe. And there's only so much I can wait. Don't do this to me.
I don't want to play with you.
But you do it. You're doing it now. You say for me to wait till you solve your situation so that we can be a family. If you're never going to be my family, just say that.
That's how you feel?
Yes. If we're never going to be a household, then I'm going to be a single mother and I'm going to continue having a broken home. So that I find somebody else that's willing to love my children and me. Just say that.
I don't know.
Okay. So, firstly, just addressing some of the things that she's talking about. He's telling you by showing you, because anybody can show you better than they can tell you. If the words are not aligning with the actions, then just go with the actions. So if he's saying that he needs to solve his situation, aka his marriage, to be with you, girl, he's with his wife. That's who he is with. That's where he wants to be. So whenever she found out about the wife, it's unfortunate because I know, she has feelings for him already. Women want the most ideal situation is to have children by the same man, but the way you set that up, most likely to happen a little bit better, is to make sure that you are the wife. And again, that doesn't foolproof anything from happening. You can still become a single mother after being a wife. You can still end up moving on from that marriage and having more children with another man. But to raise the percentage, the rates of possible, having all your children by one man, it would be best to try to do that by being married first. So, his actions are speaking louder than his words. And, at this point, you begging him to validate you as a good woman. So a lot of people are judging her in the comments. Some of the comments say telenovela vibes. Wait, he was married, crying on TV for a married man to leave his wife is diabolical. Amara, like, how have we arrived here? I never in a million years would have thought that discovering you like 12 years ago would lead to this. This not it. I feel for her. He lied about being married. Now she's stuck with kids from a married man who is clearly back and forth. Somebody said, I think the nigga told you no when he goes home to his wife. You will never have peace sleeping with another woman's husband. This is somebody's husband. Imagine how the wife feels watching this. So most people were having the same kind of conversations. Gary Busted Down Brown says, do most of us think she has the right idea? Wrong scenario. Soul ties is real. If pictures are worth 1,000 words, how much worth is actions? 1,000,000. So my comment that I put under this was a little different. I said, if you remember, she cried out similarly to this for her father's love and presence. I believe her pain is related to her father wound. She deeply desires to fill that void. She has abandonment issues, and she also doesn't want her girls to feel the same pain she feels. Once she works on healing the father wound, she'll make better decisions in her love life. So that's what I wanted to address today, because the father wound is real. There's a mother wound as well, and it both father wounds and mother wounds manifest differently depending on the experience, depending on if it's a man or a woman. There's all type of ways that these type of wounds can come up. And basically what causes a father wound is emotional pain and trauma caused by a father's absence, neglect, inconsistency, or harshness, whether that's abuse or whatever type of trauma you've gone through from the father. It can develop when a father is physically present but emotionally unavailable or dismissive as well. So some of the symptoms of father wound is low self-esteem, constantly doubting your worth or needing validation. So although Amara La Negra, she presents as a very confident woman, and I do believe she is confident. Even going back to when she first kind of stepped on the scene, when she had the big afro, and there was another guy or a guy, I believe he was a Latino. He was telling her that that wasn't a look that was marketable and that she needed to straighten her hair, which eventually she did start wearing straight hair, but not at that moment. She definitely has always been proud to be Black. She knows that although she's Dominican by her ethnicity, her nationality is Dominican, that she is a Black woman. And she's always been very, very rooted and grounded in her Blackness. And so, although she has the confidence, low self-esteem with doubt, that inner feeling of self-worth. With girls, the confidence and the self-esteem and all of that really comes from your father. How your father treats you, how your father speaks to you, how your father is present in your life. A lot of that impacts a girl's confidence and self-esteem greatly. Fear of abandonment, clinging to toxic relationships out of fear of being alone. So the way she cried about her father leaving and not being present, and even leaving as an adult, wanting to go back to the Dominican Republic, she really is deeply pained by that. And, rightfully so. I don't know how it feels to not know or not be around your dad, but I do know how it feels for, me and my dad have had our own issues and turmoil that I've had to work through, but he was present. But the void that I've seen people in my life, women in my life, that they have when they don't know their dad or when their dad wasn't present, is something that doesn't just go away with just growth or just growing up and becoming an adult. Even if it doesn't present as traumatic, or you can't really tell because they're thriving in life, there's still an inner void when it comes to that father. Attachment issues, either overly attached to partners or detached to protect oneself. I've definitely seen that. So either you extra clingy, want to live in somebody's skin and just can't, you have anxious attachment style, where you are constantly feeling the need to control because you don't want your partner to abandon you. It's really abandonment and attachment together. Wanting to know their every move, wanting them to just constantly reassure you, or completely detached, cold, guarded, all of the things. People pleasing, doing anything to avoid conflict or abandonment. Y'all know we talk about people pleasing a lot on this show. Um, that's a big thing. Feeling like if you step on somebody's toes, or if you really say what you feel, or you express yourself in a certain way, that they are not going to be there for you, or you're going to harm the relationship. So you just try whatever you can to be in their good graces and do what it is that you need to say, or do what you need to do in order for them not to leave you or to not look at you a certain way. So just how she was just saying how I'm a good woman, ain't no telling what all she's doing to prove that to him, that she's a good woman. And then repeating patterns, constantly choosing emotionally unavailable partners. As we've seen, Amara La Negra has been through several partners on the Love and Hip Hop series franchise. I know she was with Shay, which aka Bucky from Flavor of Love's brother. I don't even know what happened with their relationship because I don't really watch Love and Hip Hop Miami as much. I just kind of catch some episodes. Um, at one point, she was with Safari. I think this season she got something going on with Ray J. I don't know, but it's always a mess with the same type of fools, the same type of patterns, the same type of issues reoccurring. So I honestly feel like if she really worked on healing her father wound, that she would make better decisions in her love life. So some of the other trauma responses of a father wound is codependency, relying on others to feel complete. Just like she might have a little codependency with her mother, codependency with the men in her life. Um, she just really needs, even with her trying to have more kids right now, is it really a good time to just try to get some sperm and have some more kids when you're really hurting inside emotionally about your relationship status, your love life, your situation, your children having to grow up without their father present? Is it the right time? Another trauma response is love addiction, needing constant romantic validation. Sometimes that's when you see women who are in and out of relationships with no breaks in between. And it's not like they're healthy, happy relationships. Usually they're toxic relationships, but they're never single. They always got somebody. And self sabotage, ruining healthy relationships because they feel unfamiliar or undeserved. So sometimes when they finally do meet their person and they have all the things that they manifested, prayed for, wished for, hoped for, then all of a sudden they don't know how to receive it because they're not used to it. So that's an issue as well. So some of the tips I would say to heal your father wound is definitely acknowledge it, name it, call it out, recognize that it exists, recognize that you are hurting, and this is the root cause. So really sitting with that. Admit that the pain exists and identify how it impacts your life. Then the inner child work, speaking to that little girl that I saw Amara La Negra express her feelings as when she was talking about her father. That was her inner child. That was the little girl within her. So she needs to speak to that little girl and make her feel loved, make her feel safe, make her feel valued, make her feel worthy, and then that will manifest into her adulthood. Therapeutic healing, of course, therapy, journaling, coaching can definitely help with reframing your thoughts and your experiences. Setting boundaries, that's that people pleasing antidote. Learning to say no to unhealthy patterns and relationships. And practicing self love, prioritizing your emotional needs, validating your feelings, pouring into yourself, doing what you need to do. So, with that being said, those are all of the things that I can support you with as your life coach. Um, Gary Busted Down Brown says a father's presence is always needed. Just imagine if she received the love of her father. Absolutely. Totally different. It would be a totally different path that she would be on. But any type of father wound or anything that I just said, if it resonates with you, feel free to book a discovery call with me as a life coach to find out how you can start to unpack and heal those father wounds, mother wounds, anything that's still coming up for you. A great program for you is One Single Step at a Time. It's a 6-week program. You address and acknowledge certain things to find out what the root cause is that people don't normally take the time to sit and figure out. It's guided. You're going to do the inner child work. You're going to go over, the timeline of your relationships and what are you attracting? What patterns are you repeating? What cycles are you repeating? And what did you contribute to these relationships? Good, bad, and ugly. Definitely going to be doing some shadow work. You're going to discover who you are, what you want. You're going to get into your self-love. You're going to figure out, some of the goals and intentions you have for your future. And we're going to set you up with a plan of action and help hold you accountable for those goals. So again, one single step at a time, 6-week guided, comes with coaching as well, weekly coaching, and it comes with how to beat single guided workbook or guided journal. If you don't need the guidance and the coaching to come along with your healing process and you just want to have a tool to start, you can always just get you a How to Beat Single journal. It's always available on my website as well. And then 5 Ways in 5 Days is my self-love program. You can have it completed in as little as 5 days, or you have up to 60 days to complete. It comes with 1 free coaching session. It's all about uncovering those blockages when it comes to giving and receiving love. And it also teaches you how to incorporate your love languages into your daily acts of self-love and self-care. So that's always an option. If you don't know where to start, where to begin on your journey, or you just want some individual coaching sessions for however duration of time, you can always book a free discovery call for guidance on that. If you are a business owner, influencer, creative, creator, have some ideas and you just don't know where to start, or you're overwhelmed or confused or whatever, you have some gifts that you want to monetize and utilize to make you some money, book a strategy session. So that is under content strategy on my website. You just come with the information. I'll interview you after you fill out a form, and I guarantee you that we will have you together after that call. And for all the lovers, the hopeful romantics, the intentional daters, make sure you have joined the Intentional Love Collective. That is a growing community and database that I have, allowing me to curate events, mixers, and matchmake with your desires, preferences, and values in mind. So the Intentional Love Collective is not on my website yet. We're in the middle of updating the website, but it is linked in my bio. Please make sure you subscribe to this channel, like, share, and comment if you like this episode. And let me go ahead and wrap it up with some journaling prompts for you. What past wounds might be affecting your current relationships and decisions? What past wounds might be affecting your relationships and decisions? How do you react when you feel undervalued or overlooked? How do you react when you feel undervalued or overlooked? Am I addressing it or ignoring it? That should be the question you ask yourself. And what boundaries do you need to set to protect your peace and well-being? Again, what past wounds might be affecting your current relationships and decisions? How do you react when you feel undervalued and overlooked? Are you addressing or ignoring it? And what boundaries do you need to set to protect your peace and well-being? I hope you all enjoyed this episode 41. We will be back tomorrow with episode 42. Enjoy your evening, and I will see you all tomorrow. Good night. Thank you all for tuning in.